So this is a reef. This is actually a better example of what we can say free diving. Basically, what you're doing is, now I'll show my image. So here you can see I'm wearing a mask, and then I have got this long tube called a snorkel. Yeah. So because of that snorkel, like in cartoons, you have animated character who actually just have a bamboo straw or something that is just poking out of the water, and they are able to breathe. The same way the snorkel works like that. Okay, it is literally like a straw that is going out the. So by swimming, usually if you do not have a snorkel, you will have to take your head out again and again to breathe. But in snorkeling, because you have the snorkel, you don't have to take your head out. So while I'm snorkeling, I can keep always looking out under the ocean. I can keep looking at the marine life, at the sea and the different corals, and I don't have to necessarily take my head every time to breathe. Yeah, and this is what is called freediving, where I have held my breath, and then I'm going down into the water. You can see the gear now. I just have fins, a mask that allows me to see, and then I have got a snorkel that allows me to breathe. And these are the reefs.
Yeah, here Anurag's obviously done a free dive. Generally, if you are new to snorkeling, you can just stay on the surface. You don't need to do free dives.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely no risk. Tamanna is asking, is there any risk involved in snorkeling, Anurag?
Yeah, so basically, snorkeling, if you're comfortable with swimming, see, when you're going out in the open ocean, it's definitely a different experience. Usually, we are more used to swimming in swimming pools, which are confined waters. Now, swimming ocean is easier than swimming in ice water because you have got more salt in the water. So because of that, you can very easily float in comparison to a swimming pool. But the challenges come with the sea current, with the different kind of waves and everything. So if you're going for these kind of experience, it's very important you do not go solo on your own. Okay, though in this video I have gone solo, but the point is that I have spent a lot of time in these habitats. I've gone again and again. It's always it's a rule that you should always go along with a buddy. You should never go for these kind of experiences alone. Yeah, and any kind of, even in diving, you're always supposed to follow buddy system where you're never allowed to go solo. You have to always have a friend along with who can help you out in any kind of difficult situation. But in ocean, the main concerns are that you should not take any risk. For example, now in monsoons, I won't be, if it's raining, I won't be going for snorkeling, because in monsoons and in different conditions, the water currents are different. The currents change, the winds change. When the winds are, you're not supposed to go in the water. You should know a lot of rules also. Means when swimming, what kind of currents are there, which currents to swim against, which currents to not swim against. So there are a lot of these rules. But the more you read, the more you meet people. It's not always that you study these books, but you meet different people. You learn from them, you talk to them, and from their experiences and from their knowledge also you learn a lot. Yeah. So when you're planning to do these kind of things, if you're coming to Andamans, it's better to always go with experts who have experience in this field. Just because you have seen this it in videos and things like that, it's not advisable to just go on your own. You first, whenever you're doing any of these activities for the first time, it's always very important that you go along with people who have got experience, who know what they're doing, and you take extra precautions. So whenever I'm taking guests along with me, I always give them life jackets. I do not recommend them to do free, because free diving comes with a lot of experience. Yeah, I have spent a lot of time swimming and holding my breath and pressing. I have learned from my colleagues also. So because of that, I am able to do this activity called free diving. But usually snorkeling itself is very, what we can say, fulfilling, and it's a fun activity to do. And you can learn a lot from the people over here. There are a lot of people who are experienced in this kind of field. But yeah, if with precautions and everything, this is a very safe activity when it comes, when you are taking all the safety measures and not taking any risk. Yeah, the name for that thing. but basically they are able to identify the sand of that particular beaches. That's why they are able to come to the same beach they were born on once a long time back, right? So because of these kind of characteristics, sand of different places is different, right? And depending on the biodiversity also like now I said, you have parfish and corals in Andaman. That's why you have got white sand in Andaman. You do not have those kind of animals in Mumbai. So you do not have that, right? So it depends a lot on those things also. Even in others, for that matter, I have seen beaches. In some beaches, the sand is what we can say is so soft that like walking in snow, my foot would go down about 1 foot or so. So that's how even your waves and how the waves are acting in those areas also impact a lot. So it is depend on many geographical, physical, and biological reasons of how your sand and how the biodiversity and the habitat is impacted.
Yeah, did the tsunami affect the marine life in Andaman?
Yes, it did a lot, because when the tsunami came, happened is it came from the southern side, and it literally washed out a lot of big pieces of land. But what happens is when the tsunami came, it was both, as we are taught in our schools also, the tsunamis and all these different kind of disasters. The intensity of these disasters is reduced by biological habitats like mangroves and coral reefs. Okay, so what happened is when the tsunami wave hit, the entire pressure and the power of these waves were absorbed by the corals and the mangrove reefs, mangroves. Okay, so on this Havelock Island, there is a beach called Elephant Beach, where you will see the entire place has fallen mangrove trees. Huge mangrove trees that were growing for thousands of years, they have fallen down because of the impact of the tsunami wave. But now these habitats themselves, the mangrove trees are slowly growing. The corals also, a lot of corals fell down. That's why you have got, when you go for snorkeling, you see a lot of broken pieces of corals. But now those areas are slowly they are growing back. And along negative impacts, there are also a few positive impacts. For example, on the Andaman Island, there are places like Sippi Ghat. Okay, I'm talking positive impacts only in terms of biodiversity. Okay, there are a lot of negative impacts, but a very few smaller positive impacts, like a place called Sippi Ghat, which was once upon a time just a farmland, but because of the tsunami wave, the entire ocean went into these areas and it flooded it. And from farmland, this place became a wetland. So now this wetland attracts a lot of migratory birds and even endemic birds to these particular areas, right? But in terms of impact on humans, it definitely only negative impacts. There is no positive impact for it, because what happened is that the people of Andamans did not have any idea of what a tsunami is like and what kind of warning a tsunami has. So usually whenever there is any tsunami, what happens is the water releases a lot, and then you have, after some time, you have a big wave. So what happened is people when the water actually receded, saw it as a opportunity, where the water had receded and a lot of fish were struggling. So actually many people and fishermen went to the beaches to actually catch fish which were struggling out of the water. And later on, the tsunami wave hit. So because of that, and because of people did not have any experience in tsunami, it definitely negatively impacted a lot of people, and it caused a lot of problem for the people over here on the islands. Surprisingly, there's a very interesting story that you might know about this island called Sentinel Island, North Sentinel Island. So this island is has about 50 members of a tribe called Sentinel tribe. So these are people which are very hostile, and no humans, no other civilized humans from any is allowed to visit this island, because those people are very secluded, want interaction with the outside people, and this is a very isolated tribe which is living on the island for thousands and thousands of years and are native to that particular island, right? So the government was very worried after the tsunami that this tribe, which was already very few in numbers and limited to this one small island, would be impacted by the wave of the tsunami. But what was very surprising is that all these they already knew the signs of a tsunami, and they had already receded and gone back into the forest and stayed away from the shores when the tsunami hit. So that talks about the experience and the traditional life of different tribes. Okay, because they have been spending years and years on these places. They have throughout the years, maybe thousands of years before, tsunami must have hit the Andaman Islands, and that's why they knew this kind of thing happens when a tsunami is hitting. So the tribals and tribes have a lot of unique traditional knowledge that migrants and people coming from the other places may not have, and that proved beneficial to these studies during this time of peril.